This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts in 3 Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts in 3 Counts is the podcast dating to the real deal, baby!
Knockouts in 3 Counts starts now.
Ooh, what up, no? It is another Tuesday, and it is the first fucking show of 2022. 2022. Yeah, man, like I said, it was the first show of the year. Good to be back. We've already got some announcements for you and some good stuff coming your way from Knockouts in 3 Counts. So we'll get into that in a little bit, but as you can tell from the title of this show, you know, Jerry and I took a trip to the Sanctuary, and we'll tell you what happened at the Sanctuary. But first things first, how was y'all's New Year? I already know what you were doing, Corey, because I don't got a bell to ring, but I was there. J-Bone, how's your New Year's?
It was good, man. Like I said, I stayed out of the way New Year's, man. Just kind of hung tight at the house with the kids and just relax, man. Not much going on. Staying off the road, that's what's most important, you know what I mean?
I'm with that. What up, though, Alex?
That was one of the best parts about being able to stay at home. I had a couple friends at the house, like Kyle had mentioned, and being one of them. It was just a small get-together.
Right,
it was mostly kids getting together more than it was anything.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It was a good time, like you say, getting the kids. My youngest, of course, the one that normally stays up till the 11 o'clock or whatever, was out at 10 o'clock. But my oldest one that's always asleep early, she made it to midnight, so she got to watch the ball drop at least.
There you go.
Other than that, it was not too eventful, but it was still a great night.
Hey, man. And they were liking their new shirts. You know, yeah. Alex, if you are looking for one of those fine things, I've got some for you. And in the clip that we got coming up here, shout out to Jerry for hooking it up with some good promo pictures, all that good stuff, making them look even cooler. Like I said, if you ain't got you a shirt, get you one. Or we can put in another order. If enough of you guys want some more shirts, you know, let me know. Alex, you're 100% right. There's a lot of stuff that happened this weekend, and that's not even talking about what we've got in New Japan as well. I'm probably going to be getting it here in a minute and going to be watching that as well, because from what I heard, night 1 was a banger. I want to see what happens in night 2. If you got any thoughts on Wrestle Kingdom, let me know. Like I said, I took a trip to the Sanctuary on Sunday. I went down there. They had a pretty good show. I've heard about Sanctuary for quite a while. Jerry, I know you've been there multiple times. What's your overall thoughts on Sanctuary, and like from venue to the show to the talent and everything? What's your thought on the vibe out there at the Sanctuary?
Oh, Sanctuary is awesome. So, Sanctuary's become like my home promotion, I'd say. I've shot them since their first event, and now we're up to number 6, and all the matches are always a blast, and they're always super fun to shoot. It's a great atmosphere in the crowd. It's a great atmosphere backstage. The guys really go all out, and they really feature a lot of the top talent. They seem really excited to be there, and they always put on like a really, really great effort. And so it's a joy to shoot. You know, makes me super happy to be able to capture with through the camera lens, and then share it with everybody else after.
Hey, man, like I said, it was my first trip down there. There were a few past guests of the show on there, some that are probably going to be future guests on the show there. I mean, we had past guests of the show. Elk was in the first match. You had Sam Beal, who's another guy I'd like to get on the show soon. Corey remembers Sam Beal and that perm. How do you forget that perm, bro?
Yeah.
How do you forget that perm and the luscious locks of one Sam Beal? I'm just saying.
As somebody who rocks the long hair myself, it's very unforgettable sometimes.
Hey, man, shout out to that guy, because I remember when I first saw him come out to wrestling and now to where he's at now. Yeah. I mean, dude, this guy got himself in dog-ass shape, is having good matches pretty much everywhere I've seen him. He signed to Impact, I'm pretty sure. And so, I mean, sky's the limit for dude.
Yeah, he put on a great match when we went and seen him as well. So I mean, really
dude,
is.
he did that
Especially-
hanging famouser, bro. He swung from the ceiling and hit the sumbitch with a famouser.
Yeah.
Yeah, he somehow figured out how to wear 4 different sunglasses at the same time too. So that's a talent in and of itself.
Got to protect them eyes. For all you
If-
guys
if
that are
he's got-
watching,
he's got
drop
better
it
hair
in the
than
comments.
Corey.
Let you know where you're watching from. All that good stuff.
Yeah,
He's got
and
better
he
hair
comes
than
out
Corey.
to-
He's winning.
He definitely uses more product. I don't know if it's better, but he definitely uses more
Don't
product.
be a hater. Don't be a hater, bro.
Hey, I think I hear a hair versus hair match coming on here, man. What's going on
Here
here?
we go.
Hair
Planting the
versus
seeds.
hair. Jerry
Planting
the
the
King
seeds over
Lawler.
here.
All right. No, man, but yeah, Sanctuary was a good time. Like I said, it was my first show down there. I really liked the kind of just that rugged feel of it with where it was at the Sanctuary and stuff like that. And the fact that it was just, there were no chairs, no nothing. Everybody's walked up on the ring. And yeah, man, it was a good time. Shout out to Dickie, man. It was good to see him do his thing as well. We had talked about him coming on the show at some point, maybe before the next Sanctuary show.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah, man. And dude, that main event though. Wait a minute. Before I get to the main event, there was my two favorite matches of that show were the triple threat match.
Sure.
And triple threat match and the main event with Silas Young and a guy that I've always been fond of, the one-legged warrior, Zach Gowen. Like I said, I've been a fan of his for years. He's definitely somebody I want to get on the show. So Zach, if you see this, man, them DMs are open. Plus, at the same time, we've got news maybe with somebody else that was on this show. But Jerry, what were your favorite matches of Sanctuary this past weekend?
Man, everything was great. I mean, there's only six matches, right? So like everything's great. Everything's different. It was really cool to see. It was the first time we had girls. Girl against girl. So we had Billy Starks against Jody Threat. That was really great. I was excited for that match. I thought they did a really good job. I thought the triple threat was great. I think whenever you get Ren and Hotch in there, then you got TJ coming back. He was excited to be in there. So I think they did a really good job too.
I was very impressed by Hotch. I've heard a lot about him. Like, I've seen him on AEW Dark. I mean, Cody and the guys from Wrestling Rage hype him to the moon.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
But, man, the DDT that he hit on the ramp was gnarly. Randy Orton would have been proud at that DDT. And then, like I said, and then he hit that torture rack power bomb that was fucking gnarly, dude. Like I said, I definitely think that we might be seeing Jason Hotch on a Knockouts and 3 Counts episode near you soon. But before we talk about the main event and all those things, why don't we let these people see a little bit of a look through your lens as to what we saw at Sanctuary?
Yeah, let's do it. So while you're setting that up, you didn't ask me about my New Year's Eve. But
I didn't. What did you do for New Year's Eve? Excuse me.
Yeah,
a horrible host.
Relevant, because I had the pleasure of shooting Josh Mavato's wedding.
That's dope. Shout out to Mysterious Mavato. Damn it, we gotta get him back on here.
Man. Congratulations to Mavato on his wedding. But yeah, that's where I was on New Year's Eve.
That's awesome. Dude, Mavato is like one of the best people in the world. Seriously, he's rocked with us since day one. That's how we got to link up with guys like Sam Adonis and things like that. So Mysterious Mavato will always be our forevermore #1 alien friend from Planet Detroit. Like I said, I definitely think in 2022, we need to make it happen that the Mysterious Mavato rejoins us on the show, tells us about his travels to AEW and all that good stuff. So shout out to him for sure.
Yeah, I was expecting like a snake coming out of a box or somebody coming out of the cake, but it was actually like nice, pleasant. It was awesome. His wife's very sweet. No shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy for Mavato, but you're right, Alex. There was the Cardona and Chelsea Green wedding. Yeah. Shout out to them, dude. Like, a lot of people shit on them, but like, Corey, when we were there in Detroit for GCW, man, they had that crowd like nuclear pissed off.
Yeah,
like they had that shit going, and I still stick by what I said. Brett Lauderdale, if you hear this, when you come to Detroit, you need to run Effie and Allie Catch versus Chelsea and Matt, because I'm just saying because you need to. But anyways, that's my thoughts and my TED talk about GCW, which all three of us will be in the building for. Jerry, I don't know if you're going. Are you going to? Yes, sir. All four of us will be in the building. I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Gonna check out and see past guest of the show, Darren motherfucking McCarty over there. See what he's got to do. He was telling me that he may be getting his hands dirty at GCW. So yeah, dude, I am looking forward to this. Never been to anything at Harpo's, so I'm excited to see, kind of what that's like. So I don't know. How y'all feeling about GCW?
I mean, as I've said it a million times on the show, as somebody who's newer into the wrestling world and had very limited experience at live events, everything I've been to at GCW has been hype and it's been fun. It really has been. And the death matches maybe aren't necessarily my favorite part, but everything that they do has been very entertaining for both of the events that I went to. So I'm actually pretty excited. Like you had mentioned, Kyle, Harpo's was on my checklist as somebody who's attended pretty much every other venue in the Detroit area. I'm glad to finally be able to walk through those doors, but it'll be exciting to be for a wrestling event.
I'm with you. J-Bone, how you feeling about GCW? Because you didn't get to make it out for the last one.
Same here. I'm pumped, dude. GCW's been on the rise, dude, lately. So for them to come into Detroit red hot, and it's a good spot too because what's the Hammerstein's coming up at the end of the month. So we got a good spot here in Detroit, especially at the legendary Harpo's, man. You can't miss that. That's gonna be huge.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, dude. It's already a stacked card. Past guest of the show, Ricky Morton, is also on this card. So like I said, I am really interested to see where we end up. We appreciate all the reactions. If you guys are watching it, like, comment, share it, all that shit, because it helps. But yeah, man. So I said we were going to show you a little look at what we had. Why was Jeff Jarrett there? I think Jeff Jarrett's trying to get his shit in, bro. He cracked Effie with the damn guitar.
Yeah,
you didn't know? Hot damn, that man, if he's got a guitar, there's probably a 95% chance he's going to try to hit you in the head with it. So, I mean, it's JEFF, JARRETT. That's Jeff Jarrett. Like I said, man, he's an OG.
For us, Kyle.
Go ahead.
Can you do the strut for us, though?
I mean, I'm not scared. I might need a little alcohol, but I mean, fuck it. I don't care. It's my show. I do what I want. But Uncle Chase is in the motherfucking building. What up, Joe? We were just talking about GCW, Chase. Are we going to see you on the motherfucking GCW here in Detroit? That's what I want to know. I want to know. I'm watching the comments. You got to let me know. But yeah, we talked about GCW and all that. Let's take a look real quick at what Jerry and I were looking at Sanctuary this past Sunday. All right.
Look of confusion. There it is.
He almost ran me over.
So as you can see, shit got a little fucking gnarly at the Sanctuary, man. I was, like I said, I was very much so impressed with the overall presentation, the way it looked, all those things. So Jerry, for you, when you're shooting these shows, bro, I mean, what do you like? Is there something specific that you look for in matches when it comes to like getting the perfect shot? Are you looking for specific things, or are you just kind of going with the flow of the match and kind of where we end up?
So I used to be real like looking for the big, like, you know, the big high spots, like the action. I wanted to capture all the action. But then at some point I realized that a lot of my favorite photos were like the emotions after, you know, them reacting to what was going on, the pain, that kind of thing. So I've kind of switched it up and kind of made it more versatile. So it's like a blend of the capturing the action, but then also getting some of the faces, some of the poses, some of the excitement, kind of the struggle, capturing all that as well. So it's kind of a good balance between the two of them.
I mean, like I said, you got damn good shots. If you haven't already seen them, you saw them there. There's also Jerry also hooked me up with some promo pictures for the new shirts and all that good stuff. You can go check those out at KO3C Pod, all that good stuff. And if you haven't already done so, get you a motherfucking shirt. Get you another motherfucking shirt. And whoever, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But it just
Not
says
again.
I mean, hey, dude, I'm starting to think like YouTube is like trying to like sabotage me, bro. Because I keep
we gotta go. We gotta go look now.
I mean,
it's a given, right? Like you have to.
I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but like I said, the comments are open. We ain't scared. This is what they said. To hell with you. I don't know what that means, but anyways, go ahead.
It might be good. That's the whole thing. You don't know what it is, so
I don't. But
good.
I'm gonna just take my chances and bet
you can't
that's
live
probably
in a world of negativity, Kyle.
Hey,
I would assume it's
nothing. Go ahead.
I'm assuming it's of that ilk as well. But that being said, sports photography. I know you're leaning into the wrestling world. Do you do any other realms of sport photography?
So I once did get to shoot a Red Wings game.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was super fun, except it's really dark in there. So without the use of flash or anything, it's surprising because like sports photography in dark arenas is incredibly difficult because action happens fast, right? So you want to freeze the action. So unless you have really good gear, it's pretty tough. And hockey's super tough too because the puck is so small, and so you want to get the puck in all the shots. So hockey's really, really hard. But it was a blast. I had a great time, and I'll never forget that. That was really fun. So back then I was shooting for the Oakland Press, so I got to shoot that. I never got to shoot the Pistons, and I've done some football, like for college work and stuff like that. Football's a little bit also under the lights. But at least with football, maybe because I played football, like I can anticipate it a little bit more, which is like a big part of wrestling too, is anticipate what's going to happen and kind of be there and frame the shot. But nothing's like wrestling because wrestling, like you can't get around 100-yard field or even a hockey rink like you can a wrestling rink, right? A wrestling rink, you can see them setting up a dive because the guys, at least, people who know what they're doing in the ring, they'll set things up so that the fans kind of, there's a dive coming. They get that excitement coming, right? And so you can kind of see some stuff coming. You can kind of see some stuff happening, and you can anticipate the shots. So and you can get all the way around the ring if you have to. Whereas 100, if you're shooting football, if you're at the 20-yard line and something, someone does a pick six and runs it the other way, you're not getting that shot.
Got to run with them,
right?
So, go ahead. So along with that, like I said, we had a banger of a main event. It's a guy who, if you've been watching wrestling for a long time, you probably remember Zach Gowen, the one-legged guy that Brock Lesnar helped beat the Big Show. And like I said, man, I've always been a fan of Zach. I definitely am a fan of his story. I know he's out doing motivational speaking and all that stuff now. It was him versus the last real man, Silas Young of Ring of Honor. So that was quite the match. I mean, Silas had Greg all bundled up and ready to go back with him to wherever the hell he's going, whether it's Wisconsin or wherever, because he had him tied to a damn what are them called? Dolly. He had him tied to a dolly and then pushed this man into a wooden pole. That's a real dickhead thing to do. But what was your thoughts, Jerry, on the main event between Silas Young and Zach Gowen, where we learned that now Silas is going to have to come back to the sanctuary because he's got to fight past guest of the show, Karam. I don't know how this is going to end up, but all I know is Karam is one big son of a bitch. And he could probably toss even somebody like Silas. But that being said, Silas has got that old school, like the experience on him. So I don't know. It's an intriguing match. What were your thoughts on the main event, Jerry?
Well, it's wild catching Zach wrestle, because Zach was wrestling Brock Lesnar like 20 years ago, right? And here he is, 2 decades later, in the main event. And the last time Zach wrestled, I think it was against Karam also. and it was in also like a no DQ match. He was going through tags. Yes, and it gets pretty rowdy in here. This time they were going through the railings, and Silas was throwing them all over the place, and Zach's fantastic in there. So that match was really fun. Some matches you kind of know what you're gonna get. When Zach's in there, I don't think you really do. People always, you got to root for him, right? So yeah, I think he gave Silas all he could take, and then now we're gonna have a completely different match in Silas against Karam, which is that's something to look forward to.
I think that one's just a matchup of like experience versus just a fucking stud, dude. Because Karam has got everything you could possibly want in a pro wrestler. I mean, hell, I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up signed somewhere in 2022. I'm honestly surprised it hasn't happened yet because of all the people he's already worked with. Another one of them DTA guys, even though he's not necessarily associating with him as much anymore. I mean, him and Bronner have been two of the breakout guys out of here in Michigan in the last little bit too. So I'm definitely looking forward to that match and seeing what's going on with that. But I also told you that there was going to be some breaking news on this show. So your main event was Silas Young versus Zach Gowen. Well, the last real man will be making his way to Knockouts and 3 Counts come soon.
Awesome.
Jason Hotch will also be making his way to Knockouts and 3 Counts real soon. And a little birdie told me that there might be a Monkey God coming on here soon. So that's all the more reason you got to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss none of this shit. We've got a lot of good stuff coming for you. Hell, we've also got the Queen of Bad Street, Miranda Gordy, hopefully before her debut in MLW. So make sure you don't miss out on any of that stuff. All right. Well, we, like Alex said in the comments, and Alex, I need them comments to keep coming, man. I need to know what you thought of all these matches. But we had day one go down on Sunday, which in my view, in my estimation, especially for everything that happened, I feel like WWE made the best they could and made chicken salad out of chicken shit. Because, I mean, Roman getting COVID and fucking up basically the best story in wrestling right now. And then to insert Brock in there and then have Brock win the WWE championship. So now effectively he's on Raw, but he's a free agent. He can go wherever he wants, according to his advocate, who also was out there speaking with him on Monday. So I don't know, man. I like this new version of Brock that we're seeing. I got a few other issues with that match, but what were your guys' overall thoughts on Brock winning the WWE championship?
Lead the way, Jimbo.
Whoever wants first.
Man, I was cool with it, man. I know there was a scramble. Sometimes things happen. Obviously, with COVID and everything, you got to scramble and put it together somehow. I think that they took what they could with what they had, like you said, and I think they made the best situation out of it. The crowd loved it. The crowd, man, believe it or not,
was great.
Hot.
Yeah,
The match was fire, dude. The result was fine. There was a little something I would have tweaked with the finish, but
we're gonna get to that.
You already know where I'm going with that, but. Hey,
I know exactly where
a couple years ago, how many people were bitching about Brock being a part-timer coming back and winning the title? You're not seeing that this time. Because
I think that's because people have actually gotten smart to the fact that he's unarguably the biggest star they have in that company.
Exactly.
Like that's just a fact.
You don't need him there full time. He's a draw like that. So I was happy with the outcome. A few things I would have tweaked in mid-match and all that in the ending, but hey, as far as him being the champion, I'm cool with it. I'm curious to see what's going to happen going into the Royal Rumble and Mania, but it's going to be fun to watch, man.
Jerry, what were your thoughts on the main event? And any of you guys who are watching, please let us know. What did you think of the Fatal 5-Way that went down at WWE Day 1? And now we know after the Fatal 4-Way, which was the original match that went down on Raw, we know that we're finally going to get Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley at the Royal Rumble. It's going to be a badass match. But Jerry, what were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so I think that that Brock Lesnar is the biggest star because he's not around all the time. I think because everyone else is always there, and you're seeing him every Monday night doing the same old thing. That because Brock's not there all the time, that's why he's the biggest star. Besides, him being a genuine UFC star and being a guy that's been there for a long time. Been wrestled a lot of the big guys and stuff, right? I think if it leads to Bobby Lashley and him, I think everybody wants to see that. And that's fresh. We haven't seen that before. I think people want to see that. You see two monsters like that. So yeah, I thought that main event was fantastic. It's cool to see that they can still do it, right? Like on a big show with their backs against the wall, they can still put something out there that makes everybody happy. And I'm not a big WWE guy anymore per se, but I did get a chance to see that match, and it was great. It was really good. I was really happy with it. No complaints at all.
So go ahead, Corey. My bad.
I know I wasn't able to watch the match myself, but from everything I had seen on Twitter, that kind of was the consensus, is that everybody thought it was a great match. And like you had said, for it being such a late replacement, basically day of event, wasn't it, that Roman announced that he was out?
Pretty sure, yeah.
So, I mean, even if it was behind the scenes a day or two ahead of time, I mean, that's still, for them to be able to pull all those stars together and put a match like that together. I guess I posed 2 questions to you guys who are more knowledgeable on the subject. Do you think it would have played out that way? Do you think Brock was still champion if the match played out how it was originally supposed to, if it was him versus Roman? A. And then B, are you guys kind of surprised? I know Brock is such a huge star, and like you guys had both or all three noted, he does bring a special like aura when he does come back, whether it be because he only does so many appearances or not. Are you surprised to see them put a belt on him instead of continue with like the Big E story or something like that? Like,
I'll take this one because I didn't get to give my thoughts on that match, but so I don't think that they gave him the title. Like, so you're saying, do I think they gave him the title and just to bury the Big E story?
No, I don't think it was just to bury that. I'm saying, like, with the possibility at hand, I know he was originally scheduled for the initial match, but once you end up getting all these guys in there, you would think you would be able to use that platform to build up the star power of one of your other athletes, and instead you choose to bank on somebody who's already that guy.
I think it also has to do with, because you got to know they got to finish the thing with Brock and Roman. That was supposed to be the big blow off for that. And I think Monday Night Raw, they did an even better job at the fact that Brock didn't say a whole lot, but all he said when they came back to him later in the show, he said, "I'll see you, Roman, on Friday." So I don't know if that means that we're going to go into unification match or how we're going to get there necessarily as far as that stuff goes. But in my opinion, I'm glad that they're still acknowledging the whole Roman Reigns thing, because to drop that after how good it's been would just be dumb to me. But I also am not necessarily mad that he won the title. But my issue with that match is that why the fuck did you have Big E get pinned? That's what I want to know. Why the fuck did Big E get pinned? Because he didn't get that much juice as a champion, and then you have him lose clean. And then on top of that, this is just like a little detail to me, but why the hell did Big E come out before Lesnar? Why did Lesnar come out last when Big E is the WWE champion? To me, that's just disrespectful. Like, I get it, Brock's another level star, but if he's your champion, why? That's what I'm saying. And then
it was a dead giveaway to me.
Well, that's why I posed that question to you guys, is because I felt like with that platform, with being against Brock in a match, whether it be against multiple people or not, whatever the circumstance be, if you're able to put on a spotlight performance in that, you're going to garner a huge fanfare after the fact. So it's just surprising.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, bro. Let's get some more of that kind of shit. Raw's War needs to be a real thing again, but I don't know that I see that happening.
Bring it all back, all old school. Let's go all the way back.
So I'm a big New Day fan. Like, I like the New Day podcast a lot. Like, and so I'm all in on New Day, but I do think Big E had to take the pin there, unfortunately, and the reason is that they're setting up the Lashley bit, right? So Lashley wasn't going to lose, and then I thought Seth and KO as a team actually worked pretty cool together. How they kept doing they kept teaming up, and they kind of like showed like, oh, maybe they're gonna hurt each other here, but then they didn't, and they just kind of worked together the whole time. I thought that was still kind of fresh enough, and maybe they both need something. So this keeps their story going without one of them taking the pin. And if Big E was gonna lose the belt, he's gonna lose the belt anyway. So I thought that he had to take it, and I think Big E's a guy that they're going to go back to in the future.
I hope so, because that'll lead into my picks for Royal Rumble. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, dude. Like I said, my issue was I just feel like with him being the champion and shit like that, there needs to be a certain level of respect shown to somebody when they make it to WWE champion. Because in my opinion, if you don't do that, then it makes it look like you were just trying to. Everybody's chanting for Big E. Here, I gave it to him, but I'm gonna just take it right back. Now,
But I don't think it was as bad as Kofi though.
oh no. Kofi got fucked, dude.
Kofi
had
completely forgotten about, man. That was horrible.
They don't even mention that he was WWE champion anymore.
Right.
And I guess it goes back to the fact. So if it depends on what happens next with Big E, right? So if he comes back with maybe he's running after the title, after Rumble, or maybe he wins the Royal Rumble or something. But it just depends what happens now. If they just forget about him completely, that's a real fucking you really shit on the guy. But at least let him try to get back in that title hunt somehow. You know what I mean? Get it back again because he was doing great. I mean, everybody loved him. The crowd was red hot for him. Maybe it's just the star that is Brock Lesnar just overshadows all that. I don't know.
I mean, it's like we were talking about in the front, man. Like, Lesnar's the biggest star they've got there. I see you guys in the comments. I agree with you. Raw's Ward needs to come back. And I see what you're saying, pin to get him out of the way. But I would go as far to say that I think Big E could keep up with any of them if he'd have stayed champion and they'd put him against Lesnar or Lashley or any of them. I feel like Big E would more than have held his own. So I don't know that I personally agree with that one. But at the very least, my thing is I just don't want to see him going back to a mid-card guy. Like, not that I don't love the New Day, just like what you said. But I feel like if they put him back with the New Day this quick after losing the title, then that basically makes it like his run didn't mean shit.
Yeah.
His favorite wrestler growing up was Goldberg. So even though I'm not a big Goldberg guy, if there's that'd be a way they could go, because there might be like an old picture of him with Goldberg and him being like, hey, you were my hero and here's my chance to take on my hero. That could be something, because they love to bring back big people for big shows, right? So if they're going to give Goldberg one more match that they've been like teasing, I could see them going with Big E, because Big E's been on a bunch of interviews and there's a lot of stuff where he said, hey, my top guy, number one guy was Goldberg.
Do you think they could potentially do that in like a Rumble spot? Goldberg's like a surprise entrance. Big E had already cleared out the ring or something. They come face to face, probably try to get the reaction, see what's going to happen with that. And that could lead into Mania. Yeah. I wouldn't mind that.
Well, I totally could see that for the simple fact that they don't have any extra pay-per-views, or let me rephrase, premium live event is what they're called now. A premium live event. Get them PLEs, boy. Anyway, like I said, so I could totally see something happening with him at the Royal Rumble, but it's like the thing with Goldberg, I could see them facing off and then that be his match at Mania. I mean, if they did that, to be honest, I wouldn't be mad about it, because at least that way it makes Big E still strong. It makes it doesn't make it look like, okay, so he lost the title, but now he's fighting against Goldberg. Even though Goldberg's older, like you just said, Goldberg is a legend in wrestling. So if Big E were able to wrestle with him, I mean, I think it would only do good. I don't know if that would be the route they'd go, but I also agree with Alex and what you said. And that's another topic I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on is we're finally going to get Brock versus Bobby. And I think all of us have wanted to see that. Shit, I wanted to see that when Lashley first came in. I was saying that, like I said, dude, that's going to be a fucking banger, dude.
That's going to be
that's going to be an absolute banger.
That's going to be a fight. Let's face it. That's a fight. You're going to see stuff being broken. Maybe even the ring might collapse. Like
wouldn't be the first time.
Like those old school Big Show spots, and the ring just implodes. I'm down.
Hell, they might do a Taz and Bam Bam Bigelow and go through the mat.
I'm here to see it.
I'm here for all of it. Now, with that being said, Corey, you said you're down for the big ones. I feel like me, you, and J-Bone, we're gonna go link up for Royal Rumble. Do you guys got any early picks on who you guys think's gonna win the Royal Rumble?
Who's taking this one?
Whoever wants it.
No, not offhand. I do not.
Myself. Yeah, I don't see it because if they're talking about a Brock Roman champ against champ match at Mania, then that hurts the winner of the Rumble, facing the champ, right? So unless you're gonna throw the two of them in there or one of them in there as champ already, I don't know how you get there.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
He said Jerry Omos and Goldberg is the match to make.
Almost against Goldberg, someone's gonna get hurt.
Fuck, dude! I met
Yeah,
that guy
that's
in
a big
Vegas,
voice.
and I mean,
Not yet, man. It's a little early
Yeah.
for that one.
Yeah,
dog. I met that guy in Vegas, and like Mega Ran is a pretty big dude. He's taller than me too, but that's not saying a whole lot. But this fucking guy made me look like I could barely come up to his damn belly button. Like, hot damn, I would not want to fight with that guy. Alex, I appreciate you, my man. Does Lesnar Lashley go more or less than 10 minutes? I would say
over
A
under.
match
I
of
like
that
it.
caliber should, I feel, but because it's those two big guys, I don't know. I honestly
I
don't.
don't think
Yeah.
it does. Do you guys remember that Samoa Joe Brock match?
Yeah.
It kicked ass, and it was like 8 minutes.
Oh yeah. Great balls of fire.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fantastic. It
Well,
was like 8
Brock's
minutes. Let's do
matches
that.
when they're at their best, his matches are like a car crash. They don't need to be that long. In my opinion, Alex, I think if we're talking, I think you're somewhere between 10 and 15. I don't know they'll go straight 15 minutes, but I would say it's more than 10. What do you
including
think?
Entrances?
Well, if we're including entrances, that's different. But
Yeah.
fucking, what do you guys think, J-Bone? You think it's gonna go longer or less than 10 or 15 minutes?
I think it can go longer than it should. I think they're both good enough to handle that, especially at a major pay-per-view. However, I think we were just talking about how they're gonna play the Brock versus Roman thing with Mania and all that, man. It's really tough. Like, it's a good point. Who would win the Rumble? The only way to do that would maybe Roman somehow, screws over Brock at Rumble. Brock comes back same night, wins the Rumble, maybe somewhere along those lines. I don't know how they're going to put that all together with the other title, but
well,
yeah, it's
Brock
really a
already
weird
said
road
he's
to
showing
get
up
there.
on Friday, so I mean they're clearly not dropping Roman versus Brock because Brock said he'll be there Friday. And then think about this: if that match does get ran at some point, because we know it's not going to happen at Royal Rumble, it's really, in a way, is almost a godsend for the storytelling part of it when you think about it, because Brock's already tied up with Lashley at Royal Rumble, so you can't do it there, and then you don't have any more pay-per-views in between WrestleMania and that almost makes it like a lock that it would have to be, it would have to either.
Remember what they did, like a roadblock pay-per-view or something?
Like a
Yeah.
fast
Oh
lane
shit.
or-
Fast
it was
lane,
roadblock. There's fast lane. Hell,
Detroit
Devin got him a front row
Construction
ticket for that one.
Detroit Construction orange cones or something.
Hell yeah, dude. Like I say, I think it'll go over 10 minutes. As far as the Royal Rumble, I've got a couple like picks. I'm not sure which one I'm going to take for my dead set pick, but right now I think Big E might win the Royal Rumble. That's a way for him to stay in the picture. That's a way to keep him up in the top. I like Big E. If it's not Big E, I think you might see one Braun Breaker show up in that bitch. I think you might see Braun Breaker
so
show
glad
up
you
in
said
that
that.
bitch, bro. I really do. I mean, especially with the matter of fact, as we're speaking, I'm going to have to watch it when I get off here. You know, you got New Year's Evils on for NXT tonight. It's Braun Breaker versus Ciampa for the NXT championship. And then you got all kinds of shit with that. So I'm going to have to check that out as well. But yeah, I think Braun Breaker could definitely be somebody.
But don't you kill NXT 2.0 if you take out Braun right now?
I mean, if we're talking after WrestleMania, I mean, I don't think he makes it through a whole nother year of 2022 in NXT.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, what you could do with him too, you don't even have to have him win, man. You could just have the moment in the Rumble. And that's what I think the Royal Rumble is all about, is those little moments where you can blur the lines between NXT and the main roster. You could have Braun Breaker enter, I was saying, like, Ciampa and Breaker at number 1 and number 2. And then imagine if, like, Randy Orton came out at number 3. Now he's face to face with Breaker or Ciampa. That is just a crowd pleasing moment. But at the same time, you could have, like we just talked about with Brock, you could have Brock in there and Braun Breaker standing tall somewhere along the line. And then you got that face to face, the future versus the present. It's good for wrestling. You need those particular moments, especially in the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? You don't even have
I
to have
see him
him
in. I just don't see him winning because then you pull him out of NXT. I think it's soon.
I don't think it's gonna be long. If he wins the championship tonight, which obviously I'm not watching NXT as we're doing this, But dude, if he wins the title tonight, I mean, he'll have it for a few months, and then they'll put him on the main roster. I mean, hot damn, that's Vince's bread and butter. I think, like I said, I'm a big fan of what I've seen so far from Braun Breaker. Like, I have nothing ill to say about him getting a title because, I mean, that dude is a fucking savage. Former NFL football player, fucking dude is a straight savage. His dad
a prototype WWE wrestler. It's
not to
insane.
mention his dad's Rick Steiner, his uncle Scott Steiner, so he can suplex anybody.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's basically in his blood, even if he wasn't wrestling at first. I'm cool bro. I've got no problem.
I love the Steiner name, dude.
Hell yeah. I'm totally with that, except I almost don't want him to do that because most of the time when that shit happens, that means WWE ends up owning their name. Now, if you did, I mean, like I said, I think everybody knows at this point, but it is what it is. Because I read in an article, he said he wants for his dad and his uncle to be active in his career. So I'm definitely interested to kind of see how that's gonna play out. But like I said, Braun Breaker might be a sleeper pick for the Royal Rumble. Let's talk about another match from day one that I really I thought was very good, and it kind of carried itself over into Raw. Edge versus The Miz was good. You had Maurice kept getting involved and all that shit, and then lo and behold, the Glamazon Beth Phoenix comes out, and they've laid down the challenge to Miz and Maurice for a match at the Royal Rumble. Now, J-Bone, you were watching live, right?
Yeah.
Did you think that when Beth Phoenix came out that somebody fucked up with her music?
I did. Yeah, it was a little something weird about it. I was like, wait a minute.
Well, dude, she comes out, storms through the fucking curtain, and starts hauling ass down to the ring, and then the music plays like 10 or 12 seconds later.
Yeah, so somebody missed their cue on that or something.
I was like, I don't know if that was like by design or what, but like,
button. Oops.
I don't know if that was by design, but I totally peeped that. But I loved the entrance from Edge too. The old Brood entrance, man, just getting that rock going.
You can't go
that
wrong
bounce
with
that it used to have. You know what I mean?
So good. So good.
But it was dope. And then for it to tie into his regular entrance, like I said, I was a big fan of that. Good match, and I liked how it carried over into Raw. I'm here for this tag match. All right, like I'm not mad at all at Miz and Maurice versus Beth and Edge because we've never really seen Beth and Edge do anything together on TV. She's got some pretty wild ass hair right now, but I'm totally with it. If this somehow gets drug out to WrestleMania or something, I'm cool with that, dude. Like I said, and speaking of WrestleMania, son of a bitch, bro. Son of a bitch. I was looking at tickets yesterday, and let me tell you, motherfucker, bro. I looked at them, and in the same day, I had a two-day because it's Saturday, Sunday, so I had a 2-day ticket looked at. It was like $430. It was like $433 was what I was looking at on the face value on SeatGeek plus your fees and shit. I go back on there like 3 hours later when I get off work. Hot damn. I did not think that it would be this much of a pain in the ass to get tickets for this because I literally just heard them talk about it on Busted Open this morning that they only got like 50,000 sold for night one and 40,000 for night two. That motherfucker holds 100,000. So, I mean, I'm wondering where are all the tickets at? All you scammers and bots and scalpers can kiss my ass because I'm over here trying to get my WrestleMania ticket. But I will be getting one of those. And hey, if you're in the area, we are in Devin's hometown. Mega Ran might just be with me down there. Like I said, if you guys see us down there, like I said, we'll have a drink. It's going to be a good time. I've already got the time off for Texas. I am looking forward to that shit. Hard body.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I want to know, J-Bone, when you going to stop being a bitch and make the trip?
Hey man, I'll be at GCW. All right, that's where we'll start. That's where we'll start, man.
It's talking about $500
pipe dreams
tickets.
for me. Yeah, pipe dreams for me to get out of state WrestleMania. All that. I was here for one at Ford Field, but I really want to get to a Royal Rumble. That's my.
I'm kind of pissed, man. My buddy Mitch is going. I know 2 people going, and I'm like, fuck, man. I wish I would have went.
That's my main thing, dude. My favorite moment, like my favorite match of the year every year is the Royal Rumble. So
yeah, that's mine too. My big events are Rumble too. I just think there's hope. Like there's hope that all the way up to number 30, that something really cool is gonna. Like, you don't know up until 30. Like you have some kind of weird hope that maybe somebody that is your favorite is gonna come out and win it. Yeah, and then even then you don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah, Rumble's my favorite too.
I love the Rumble, man. It's my favorite time. Even my friends that don't get into wrestling come here to watch the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean?
Well, I think with the Rumble, it's just the fact that it's one of the few matches that no matter how many of them they do, with the fact that the 30 people are never revealed other than who's in the match, it's one of the few things that can't really be poked as far as anticipation. You're getting a 30-man Rumble, you're getting a 30-woman Rumble, but you don't know who the fuck's in it. Right. And so the higher you get up in that match and the more it keeps going, you're just on that ride, just waiting to see who's next. Alex, let me know if you've got any picks for the Rumble. Do you got any early picks on who you think is going to win the Rumble? All right. We talked about the Fatal 5-Way. We talked about that. J-Bone, I'll give this one to you first. What were your thoughts on Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch?
I like that match, man. Honestly, that was probably one of Liv Morgan's better showings, to be honest.
That's what I keep hearing.
We said that a couple weeks ago on the show. She's got a long way to go. You know what I mean? So, and I feel like they're really pulling her through, the main event picture right now for a reason. I think once Rumble hits, and man, she could even be that Royal Rumble winner. You never know. You know what I mean? So I think they're really grooming her for those main event spots right now. And by her getting better matches, especially with top tier talent, you're just grooming her for a main event, title match. So I think she's doing great, man. I love that match too. I thought that was great.
That's like the consensus I keep hearing on Twitter, is everybody thinking that that's her best match. Now we're going to have to see what she does in her matches to come, because as we know, with the people she was in the ring with, we'll have to see if she can do it again with another opponent, because Becky is one of the best in the business, bar none.
Was the finish weird?
So they made it look like she was going to use the ropes again, like she had, and then she got a clean win on her. So,
so did she cheat or not?
No, they made it look like she was going to, but this time she pinned her clean.
Yeah, that was interesting. It left me kind of asking the question of like, what did you cheat? You kind of cheated, not really.
Did she try?
Like all of those picks. What do you guys think about that? I want to.
That's
what I was just gonna say.
Where is Asuka?
I literally just tweeted that like the other day. Like, hot damn, bro, we got these rosters and we're not using Asuka at all.
I don't even see anything on the dirt sheets for that stuff, man. You usually see those Twitter dirt sheets and shit. I don't see Asuka's name nowhere.
Like I said, dude, I want to see more of Asuka. I'm not mad at that. Bayley is definitely another good pick with her being gone from injury and all that. And I wouldn't be mad at Bianca either, though, dude. Like, I'm a big fan of Bianca Belair, dude. I think she's one of the top 5 athletes they got in the whole fucking company, bar none.
Is that your pick for the Rumble? Not a bad one.
I don't know. J-Bone, the homies are checking in, bro.
What up, dude? What up?
But yeah, man. So for the women's Rumble, I think as of right now, I think Bianca's a hell of a pick, but we're gonna have to see how it plays out, because if I'm not mistaken, didn't they have the whole the 3 of them are wanting to fight for the number 1 contender for the title or something like that now? So you kind of got to see how that plays out. So I would probably say Bianca, but I'm not completely sold on it yet, just because I kind of want to see how things play back out. But all of those options you just said were good, especially Alexa, because they say she's supposed to come back next week. But the other thing along with that, that's not even all of what we got going on. Let's not forget that you got New Year's Evil tonight, which had the triple threat for the women's title. You had Ciampa versus Breaker. I'm going to watch that. And you got Wrestle Kingdom that's going on right this week from New Japan. And that's not even including the fact that on Wednesday, we're getting the rematch of Hangman Page versus Bryan Danielson on the first episode of AEW Dynamite on TBS. So
this is a pretty great week of wrestling. You got Riddle against Walter tonight too.
I Oh shit, I forgot that was on there. That match is gonna be bad ass.
Yeah,
they are gonna kick the shit out of each other. If you guys are watching or are gonna watch NXT New Year's Eve, like let us know what matches you're looking forward to. But that's one for sure, bro. That shit's gonna be hard. I'm dope. I'm excited for MSK versus Imperium, to be honest.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
Hey,
Like
I got
I
a
said-
question for you guys regarding the Rumble. Do you want to see NXT guys in the Rumble, or is that
Yes.
yeah? And then who? Like, give me it's just
Ron
throw a few
Breaker,
out
Zion
Carmelo's
Quinn,
cool.
Carmelo Hayes would work. I'd like to see Odyssey Jones in there. Past guest of the motherfucking show, Josh Briggs, put that big sumbitch in there. I'd like to see it, but I don't know how many people I realistically see them putting in there because
there. Would you put in like 5 or something like that?
That's
right?
what
I would like
say.
to think that they would, but I'm not even sure if they do because I feel like Vince is looking at it as a straight developmental. It isn't like before
I would
where
love
they
to see
were
Walter
bringing.
in there. I'd love to see Walter in their clean house. man.
Walter's insane, dude.
Yeah.
Like Walter would be perfect on the main roster, but I think it's all the traveling to why he didn't want to. But dude, Walter is a fucking savage, dude. All right, Nate coming in the comments. What you got for me? They need to bring Priscilla Kelly up. She makes
no,
Yo, I don't think she's going anywhere. And I mean, I guess maybe that's why it's a good thing they got the name Toxic Attraction.
Yeah.
Like I said, dude, Priscilla Kelly was a beast on the indies before. I don't know how much of the stuff at AEW kind of got derailed when her and Darby split, but like I said, I got no problem with that either. We've been seeing Priscilla Kelly since we were going to the Evolve shows, which is where we originally met Jerry as well.
Do you guys? So you said Walter's a beast, and he is, but I don't see Walter against Ilja happening on Raw or SmackDown or any WWE pay-per-view. That style that makes him a beast, that makes him a savage, that style doesn't exist on the main brands. So I kind of hesitant. As much as I'd like to see Walter,
I just feel
in that
like
style,
with his size, I feel like Vince would like him, but I totally agree.
well, they'll
with what
like
you're
him, but
saying.
they're not gonna let him like beat him.
He's not going to be Walter the same.
Yeah, I want to see him against Riddle because it's going to be under NXT, and they might let him do something.
Oh, dude, they're going to pull out a banger, especially with it being on USA, since it's not like a pay-per-view. They're going to want all the ratings in the world, so I guarantee you they give them a bunch of time in that match.
Yeah, if they let him work, it'll be great. How about for the girls? What do you guys think about Tessa?
Well, did she sign somewhere?
No, but I mean, what do you guys think?
So, talent-wise,
of her coming into to the Rumble, you think they'll let
I
her?
was gonna say she could be a surprise entrance, man. That'd be nice.
I mean,
I'm cool with it.
I mean, I would love to. I've wanted to see Tessa in a big company again for a while. I just feel like that shit she said about La Rosa Negra was like, it was
She never
nuclear,
really
bro.
apologized, right?
No, she never did. And then it was crazy because, like, dude, we were literally with La Rosa Negra like the week before that, like right when that all happened. And she straight up was telling us how everything went down. And it's just like you listen to it and it's like, bro, that shit's fucked up.
Yeah,
like
I don't. It sucks because it's like her whole career is gonna just die, right? But if she doesn't apologize for it,
but think about it, nobody's picked her up. Not even AEW, and her dad's working there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's interesting.
I mean, if you really think about it, that's crazy. Hell, not even AAA.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah,
I mean, not that she's not wrestling for them, but I look, for talent's sake alone, I hope that we can see her land somewhere.
She
in
wasn't
the
the
next year.
Impact World Champion.
First of all, that was crazy too when she left Impact and she was the world champ for them, not the women's champion, the world champion.
Yeah,
she was the
went home with
world
the belt.
champion.
It's kind of like Antonio Brown. He went home before the game was over. She went home before the game was over, man. She didn't strip like Antonio Brown did, but she left before the game was over. I mean, I don't know what to think. Hopefully AB's all right, but yeah, like I said, it's I don't know, man. It's like I said, with her, I think she's got so much talent. She would be an asset to anywhere she goes. But dude, once you get stains like that, like they're hard to get rid of.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Tough to come back from. That's tough to come back from, man.
Well, the problem was so many people corroborated the story too.
Oh yeah, no,
like
I'm surprised she never apologized. I mean, she didn't even try.
Like there were multiple people that I saw pretty much recounted it the same way
Yeah.
She did. So, like I said, when you got that many people saying it, it's kind of hard to wear that off. But since we're talking about Tessa Blanchard and maybe the Rumble, and we talked about AEW, do you guys got any picks for Hangman versus Danielson? Now, this match has got the three judges, which are gonna make the decision if they go the time limit. So I like that they have that added stipulation. I think they need to have a clean win, whether it's even if it's Bryan Danielson taking the championship, which I don't think is the right move. Like, we have to have a clean winner in this motherfucker. But something tells me they might go to a time limit draw again, and then the judges, because the judges got to be used somehow.
Yeah. Why would you have the judges?
Yeah,
if
why
you're
would you
not
have
gonna
it?
use them?
Yeah, so they got to be involved somehow. But I think it's going to be another banger of a match. I don't know, man. I see Hangman retaining. And hey, Alex, just so you know, before we get off the Royal Rumble, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Jerry is. Austin Theory is a past guest of the motherfucking show. Austin Theory came on with us right before the Evolve 10th anniversary special. So after you get off of this one, feel free to check that out. Austin Theory won us some beers. When he beat JD Drake. He won us some beers from the boys at Breaking Down the Ring, even though he doesn't drink. So yeah, it was a good time. Like I said, dude, I think Hangman has to win this, but at the same time, even though they've went to those draws over and over again, it's fucked because it's like, so say theoretically, now obviously I want to watch it to see what happens. The same as that's another thing that's been really good this week. All of the brands have done a good job of making you think, all right, I want to see this show. Like, I wanted to see Raw yesterday to see what Brock Lesnar was going to say. I want to see SmackDown to see what he says about Roman Reigns, since they're going to keep that going on. And then, like you were saying with AEW, I mean, you got that big title match. I want to see how it plays out. So we really got a week where there's a lot of shit to look forward to. I just think Hangman's going to have to retain the title, but man, that's a shitty look too if you're Bryan Danielson, in that your two big matches, you basically tied with both of the champions and then lost your other one. I mean, at some point, Bryan's got a bunch of wins at this point, but like, do you guys think it gives him any kind of a black eye that he keeps, either even just him being draws, but him keep losing like that? Do you think that gives him kind of like a black eye overall?
No, I've mentioned it on the show before. He was my wrestler of the year for this reason. No, I don't think so. I think if anything, he's just continued to build up his star power. I feel like it would have been a mistake on AEW's part to immediately bring him in and crown him champ immediately, and to put him through the ring of matches that he's gotten to this point. It wouldn't surprise me if now was the time, like you said. But no, I don't feel like it's taken anything away. That's for sure.
What about you, Jerry? What do you think about that? Do you think if Danielson loses after this, it takes away from him at all?
No, because I think that he's put on such great matches that, every time they put him up against somebody, whether it be Kingston or just anybody that they put him up against, he's just killed it out there. So, I don't think that, as long as it's someone like Hangman, someone up there, I don't think he loses anything, because I think I still want to see American Dragon go out there and kick somebody's head in.
Hey, man, I'm never mad at that. I said, I've been a big fan of Bryan Danielson for a long time. Alex is asking us again in the comments, talking about who would be next for Hangman after Danielson. Well, for me, this is a simple thing for me. I think it's going to go one of two ways. Either if Hangman wins, I think the winner of the whole MJF deal with CM Punk, when that's done, like, Punk's made it clear he wants to go for the title. I wouldn't be shocked if they start moving him towards it. But I also kind of think that it also is probably going to play out to some degree. You got to remember, for me, Adam Page, already went against Kenny. They had their match. It was a banger, whatever. But now the roles have reversed and Hangman's got the title, that he beat Kenny. So I think when Kenny comes back, I don't think that's going to be the last we've heard of Hangman and Kenny. So for me, those are the two scenarios that makes most sense. J-Bone, what about you? Where do you think, if Hangman gets the dub tomorrow night, where do you think he ends up after this?
I agree with you, man. I think that's like, for me personally, that's the next one, on the list as far as rivalries. CM Punk, I said it before, man, Punk's going to lose, but I wouldn't mind seeing MJF in line for that shot because that could go a long way. You know what I mean? That could take you all the way out to All Out. That would be, for ratings wise, I think that would be huge. And I know everybody's probably saying, Punk would be better for ratings, but I think MJF, like I said it before, 2022 is the year of MJF, dude. He may, in fact, be the champ by the end of this year.
I mean, he's definitely a young rising star, right? And I feel like once he does get that belt, he's going to have it for a while. So that's where I don't know if right now is necessarily that time because he is still so young in his career. I feel like they could get another 6 months or something out of him before it might still be this year, but I honestly think it'll push into the next.
I'm kind of with you, Jerry. What do you think? What do you think on who wins, and what do you think about where he'd go next?
All right, this is what I would do. I would give Hangman Mox if Mox is back. I think that's something that they were going to do anyway. So I think you go with Mox, and I think Hangman goes over, and I think you do something where MJF like screwy finish something with Punk, so MJF can take the belt off of Hangman. Somewhere in the summer, and then that would lead to Punk getting revenge against MJF at All Out in Chicago, which would, that's the thing, right? Is Punk championship match against MJF in Chicago. I think that's it. I think that kills,
I'd like that.
Owns the weekend, owns the summer.
I'm not mad at it because I definitely plan on trying to get back to Chicago for All Out again next year. Like I said,
because I think Kenny and the Bucks go against Undisputed Era. I think that's Kenny's.
Oh, yeah, it's totally coming.
Yeah,
and I said this as soon as they did that promo. What I think is going to happen is you're going to get to a place where Kenny's gone. And you saw right as he was getting ready to leave, there was kind of like that tension, in between the two of them. So I think what happens is Kenny goes away. Adam Cole's already got his baby. He's got his backups already there. And I think what's gonna end up happening is the Bucks are gonna end up stuck in the middle and doing which side are you gonna go on? And that could be when obviously they're not the Undisputed Era anymore, but when they split from the Bucks, I think that's inevitable for when Kenny comes back. I think that'll be Kenny's first feud, and I think that's gonna be what kind of splits the Young Bucks and Kenny up. I think Kenny might turn babyface since they were heels with the Bucks. I think when there's eventually the split, because I really see them trying to play Adam Cole out like the bad guy in this one. So that's kind of just the way I see that playing out. What do you got in the comments? All right, Impossible. Moxley will be a super babyface coming back from rehab. Hangman will be booed if they do that.
That's a good point.
That's a very good point, especially with him coming back from rehab and all that stuff. That's a very good point.
Yeah,
like I said, man, for me, I think it has to be. It's only a couple ways you could really go with it, in my opinion, at least for the next feud after it. If you've got any picks of who you think you'd like to see it be, drop it in the comments, Alex. But
hey, it could be somebody completely not even on TV yet. Let's not forget there's some guys out there that I feel like they're just picking. I'll just say it, Bray Wyatt. That dude, he's coming to AEW, dude. Where else would he go? But I think they're really picking the perfect time for that to happen. Not saying he's going to come in and take the title, but to build onto Hangman's star throughout the year, that's just another way to get somebody in the picture, man. And that could be huge. And who knows when that's going to happen?
He could show up on an indie first, too, because here's the other thing. I was just listening to Busted Open this morning. Shout out to LaGreca and McKinnell and all them guys. But they were talking about how Enzo was on there today and was talking about how it's going to be Eric Rowan and not Brody Lee. God damn it.
Sure.
Yes. Adam Scher. Braun Strowman. Formerly known as Braun Strowman. It's going to be Enzo and Bully versus them two. And Enzo was cutting a promo and said, Bray, if you want to show up, I'll kick your scary ass too, pretty much. So it would be kind of dope if he showed up with that.
Yeah, I'd be with that. I like that.
It's at NEW Wrestling coming up January 22nd. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But I heard that today and I thought that was an interesting way to go. But
Pac
Go ahead.
and Cage and Brian Cage also have wins over Hangman, so they could quickly venture their easy win in between.
You mentioned Cage, so that brings up another good question to talk about, though. Where the fuck? What do you think they're doing with Cage? I mean, fuck, he hasn't been on TV in weeks and weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe waiting for a big comeback and saying, "Hey, I beat you at the last pay-per-view, and now I'm here." Yeah. But I don't think he's gonna take an L after the. I don't think he's gonna want to be real happy to take another loss. So, but maybe the title picture was not so bad. But who knows?
Well, and here's the thing with that too. Like I heard that there was a lot, and again, this is all speculation, but I heard that they were saying there was heat because Melissa Santos was vocal about him needing to be on TV more and things like that. So I don't know if that had any benefit factor in it, but I mean, he's been wrestling out on the indies and stuff like that. He's a guy who, like I said, man, he's big as shit and athletic as hell for a big guy. Now, if you guys didn't already get to do so, make sure you check out after this video and hit that subscribe button. We got a chat with Brian Cage where the beautiful Miss Thunder Rosa about made me laugh my ass off in mid question because she come over there messing with Cage while I was in mid question. I about threw it at somebody. I'm with wow. He said send Hook for the young and be the youngest champ. Now I'm all for it. Send Hook. Let Hook get all the smoke, but I don't know that they're gonna put him towards the world title yet, dude. I'm a big fan of Hook.
Yeah,
I like what we've seen. The fact they got Action Bronson doing his theme song and all that shit, and he's doing the suplexes like his dad, and he's doing the Kata Hajime. I am not ever gonna call that red rum, even though it's really like a rear naked choke. But the Taz mission, I mean, Hook's look good so far, dude. Yeah. What do you guys think about Hook, dude?
All good things with Hook, man. So far, I like it, and I like the fact that they associated him with Taz too. Like, let's just let it be known. You know what I mean? That's cool as hell.
I'm a big fan of it, dude. I like it. I hope Team awesome. Taz kind of can be back in the middle of some more higher profile storylines in 2022. But I've always been a fan of Taz, so I definitely like what we've seen from Hook. Also, on top of that, I just feel like from the look to everything, like I honestly have enjoyed what we've seen so far from that. So we're going to have to see if they send Hook, because I even saw after the show, they were sending Hook for shit. And, like I say, we might have to see if he gets him towards the title, but I don't see it coming real soon. But hey, if you really want to go outside the box, I'm with you. Anybody who's watching, drop in the comments, let us know where you're watching from. If you got anything you want us to talk about, we can do that too. But let's take it away from wrestling a little bit. Jerry, I know you've probably seen some of this stuff too, but Jake Paul versus Dana White, and when are we booking it and where are we booking it?
I don't think Dana wants any.
Well, apparently neither one of them do, because I don't know if you've kept up on what's happened in between there, but pretty much, Dana White came out and said that if he'll let Jake Paul test him for coke for 10 years if he can test Jake Paul for steroids for 2 years.
But Jake Paul had a pretty honest rebuttal. He said, if you match the stipulations that I put forth,
what up, brother man?
Join the roster. I will join the roster, go under USADA. I agree, he's a puss, but he's So, but that being said, he's basically laid out the ultimatum. If you think he's on PEDs, go ahead, sign him for one fight, put him up against somebody that's going to kick his ass, and then he's under USADA protocol. Like, it doesn't get any more stringent than that, So with the amount of eyeballs, even if this pay-per-view sales numbers are as they were reported, there's definitely a lot of eyes on Jake Paul in one way or another, and especially if it was to go that direction, I feel like it would just continue to climb higher.
So here's
if you would have asked me a year ago, I would have said it's the worst idea in the world, but sign the dude for a fight. Let's see what happens. Honestly, I would be entertained to see it at this point.
But they can't sign him because they can't afford what he's like because he's not gonna.
Well,
sign
and
up
that's
for
why he put
a
out that
UFC
crazy
fight.
ass list of demands too.
Yeah, that list of demands was a little far-fetched.
I mean, I'm not mad at what he put in there, but I mean,
No.
that was totally a list that you only put out knowing that the person's not going to take it. All right. So we got a question in the chat. Do you think that fight was rigged? No, I don't. And here's why. Again, like I've said before, I've been boxing since I was 13. I've actually been knocked out. Here you go. I ain't scared to say it. I got in there and threw hands with some bitch and it didn't go my way. But that being said, I don't think it was rigged, and here's why. If you watch Tyron Woodley's last 3 or 4 fights before he was on the way out of the UFC, even if he didn't get necessarily finished in every one of those fights, dude, he was getting hit with some shots. So I think his chin was already gone. And I mean, even though he had good hands in MMA, good hands in MMA versus good hands in boxing is a different thing. And if there's anything that you can't take away from Jake Paul at this point, in my opinion, it's that, look, dude, say what you want. He's knocked out the majority of everybody he's fought. Now, has he fought fair matchups and things? Probably not. But at the same time,
you could say that in his early matchups 100%. And I mean, he was super early in his career as well. But Tyron Woodley, whether or not he went out on a losing streak or not in the UFC, he was a legitimate title holder. People were starting to weigh whether or not he was up there with the likes of like a GSP and stuff. Even though I disagreed, I didn't think he was quite up to that pedestal. But it's just, I don't think so. I think the match with Tyron Woodley was actually a better matchup than what we would have seen with him versus Fury. If you looked at Fury's record, he's a professional boxer and stuff, but all the guys he's fought were like 3-50, 10-100. It's like those were
and I
gimme
get that.
fights. So
I feel you on that too.
But with the whole opponent, and I've seen this rumblings go around so much, so I don't want to say who was commenting or whatever is wrong in particular, but I've seen that so much in the combat sphere of like, was it rigged? Dude bit on a feint. He thought he was about to catch a solid straight to the body, and instead Jake Paul went up top and sweat went flying. You don't get hit like
he hit him like a horse, bro.
That's what I'm saying. You can't. There's no faking that. Like, I can swing my head dripping sweat, and I'm not going to fling the way that he flung that sweat in all those photos. I don't see where people are calling this rigged or fake. Would somebody willingly get knocked out just to get to ruin their combat career? Basically, I don't think Tyron Woodley's the type to take a dive or something like that.
No, and especially them running that fight back that quick too. That's the other thing. Like them running that fight back that quick too, bro, is
if it was all rigged and if it was all supposed to happen like this, then why didn't he do it in the first fight? Why didn't he knock him out? Why did he actually almost suffer the knockdown and get pushed into the ropes and basically held up by the ropes?
Well, and I'd also like to add, if you were watching the fight, if you look at Jake Paul in the corner, once he started bleeding, he kept fighting. I'll give him credit for that. But you could tell he was worried once he started bleeding and he got hit by a few shots because I don't know. In my opinion, from what I saw in his eyes in the corner, dude, I don't know, man. I felt like he kind of at that minute he knew that shit got real. I don't know that just.
And Tyron Woodley was boxing, even though it was not entertaining. It wasn't really a good matchup the second time around for sure. The first one wasn't all that great either because he didn't let his hands go. But this one, he was punch, punch, clinch, punch, clinch, 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 punch. Like, it was more clinch than it was punching from the Woodley side. But it could be argued, and I've seen it from multiple sources, that realistically that route was effective. He wasn't letting Jake Paul do anything. He was landing more punches. You may have even been able to score rounds for him up to that point and had him ahead on your card. So I don't see where people are calling this a fake, man. I've seen that probably 1,000 times on Twitter and
I've seen it all over
different podcasts and stuff. And I don't see it. I don't know where people are even coming up with.
Here's the thing. If that were rigged, dude, he went through so much hell, had to get the tattoo and all that shit for Jake Paul, and then he gets a chance at the rematch. why the fuck would you go in there and take a dive when you're already getting trounced on and your legacy's getting trounced on because of the first fight? I think for that fact alone, the fact that he lost the first fight, why that makes no sense to me. Why so many people think it's rigged. I ain't mad at you for thinking it's rigged, but for me, I just think those factors alone, I don't see it being a thing. But Alex is asking, he's hoping Dustin is really fighting Nate Diaz at UFC 271.
Yeah, I heard the rumblings about that as well. I also seen Nate Diaz has kind of come out and said, no, they shot that offer down like he always does on Twitter, but we'll see what actually kind of plays out within the next couple weeks. But I really hope that matchup plays out as well, because I feel as though both have a chance to win that fight. If Diaz gets it to the ground, he's definitely got the far superior submission game. Dustin Poirier is kind of that. If he's shown one thing, that's his only flaw, is he kind of, once put in those positions, I mean, granted, he's done it against far superior grapplers, I feel, than Nate Diaz, but he's shown that may be the chink in the armor to get a win over him, and Nate Diaz is that guy. That being said, Nate Diaz might just go in there and throw hands with them all 5 rounds, 3 rounds, whatever the fight ends up taking place over. And if that's the case, I see Dustin Poirier probably getting them out of there, to be honest with you. So it's a winnable fight for both guys. I feel like it's a perfect matchup. I really do hope that one comes to fruition.
But what the fuck is with all these guys that are 155ers fighting at 170, dude? Like, hot damn. Like, these fights are just, like, weird at this point. Like, literally.
Yeah.
Nate Diaz is not a 170.
Weight. Well, that's where I was going to say I would agree with you under normal circumstances. If it was, say, all of a sudden Leon Edwards was calling out Dustin Poirier like crazy and it was going to be Leon versus, then I would agree with you. But because I feel as though Nate should naturally be a 55er if you look at his body type and stuff, I feel as though it's actually a good progression, whether Dustin wants to make the move to 170 or he's just wanting to have a fun matchup without, like you had mentioned, cutting weight. Either way, I feel it's a win-win.
Well, let's not forget too, like Dana said it in the whole back and forth with him and Jake Paul. He said it himself. He was like, Nate Diaz is a superstar. Jorge Masvidal is a superstar. Like, I mean, for them to have that fight, I mean, why wouldn't he want that fight? Because it's going to be a money fight. Yeah. I'm not mad at him for wanting that fight, but it's kind of the same thing like Tyron Woodley, right? Like, he got that rematch so quick, and then to have it end like that would be a bad thing. My big thing is I hope that Dustin Poirier doesn't jump back in there too quick and then, not necessarily not take Nate seriously, but be so hell-bent that he wants to get in there and get a W that he ends up fucking around and getting caught. Because that's the thing. Yeah. Let's not act like Nate Diaz can't still submit anybody at 155 or 170. Like, yeah. And
it's
even if
it's whether he chooses to implement it. It really is.
Oh, I agree.
A lot of his fights, he just kind of almost refuses to get it to that point. It's like he wants to prove a point on the feet and stay there. Like he wants to hit him with the Stockton slap more than he wants to end the fight with a solid choke and get a win on his record. I don't understand it, but that's why I'm not in the game to his level, right?
I mean, like I said, dude, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, like I said, that's why you guys got to hit that motherfucking subscribe button, because like I said, we've got plenty of good stuff coming for you. Like I said, Silas Young, the last real man, will be joining us real soon, formerly of Ring of Honor, as well as, like I said, hopefully we're going to get the monkey god, Jared Brooks, in here before his fight for one FC. I don't know where the hell they're fighting this time. He fought in Singapore like a month ago. So
that's where they run the majority of their events, is Singapore. I assuming you're doing the wrap up here, I do want to mention 2 quick points before we wrap up. Our Michigan's finest, on his way up through the 205 rankings, got another fight announced. Mr. Jamal Hill will be taking on Johnny Walker. Incredibly excited for that fight.
I like that fight too.
Yeah, incredibly excited for that fight. I feel as though Johnny Walker, even though he's still incredibly skilled, has shown a slight bit of a decline since he's made his way out to Ireland and started training out there. And I feel like Jamal Hill, somebody you can't be slipping against him.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see come February with that fight. And then secondly, I know you were able to check it out at least, Kyle, but that Fury grappling, man. That was an awesome event they were able to put on over the last week.
Oh, I completely agree. We're a big fan of Fury Grappling over here. We had Dylan D-Boy Massington on, which you can check that out in the past episodes. He competed in there. Shout out to him. He just also competed in Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds as well. So, I mean, my man's out here doing it on the grappling scene. But, yeah, I was a big fan of that. I thought the Cowboy match was cool, even though he got submitted. But there was so many good guys and girls on there, man. I like that stuff because I've competed a lot in jiu-jitsu tournaments and things like that, and I just love the fact that we're at a place in 2022 now that people are maybe starting to see grappling for what it is, man, because especially in the early MMA days, man, people were always shitting on people when they're fighting on the ground. So like I said, right. I was a big fan of it. They had good matchups. I hope we see him do more of them. Like I said, it was all full of UFC fighters, and I think it was smart they didn't have them do heel hooks because you don't need anybody being able to rip somebody's knee apart and then they can't fight. So, like I said, I loved Fury Pro Grappling. I'm definitely interested to see where that's going to go. Like I said, knockouts and 3 counts. We've got a ton of good stuff coming your way. Like I said, we will be there January 14th for GCW. We've also got, like I said, at the end of the month or beginning of next month, we've got the Guitar Hero Justin James is going to be stepping back into the cage, as well as Mondo El Toro Gutierrez. We're hopefully going to be trying to get you Miranda Gordy before MLW. So stay tuned, man. You never know what's going to come your way. That's why you got to follow them social medias that are down there at KO3C Pod on Twitter and Instagram. And like I said, shout out again to our friend Jerry Villagrana. Like I said, man, thanks for the pictures and all that stuff. And hopefully, we'll see you again soon. Let everybody know where they can find you, man. Get some dope ass pictures done.
Just JVDA Photography, Facebook and Instagram. And then on Twitter, I'm at Jerry_VILL. Anytime. I'm based out of Michigan, Detroit. Do a lot of wrestling, but do all kinds of photography. So whatever anybody needs.
Hey man, I appreciate the time, appreciate you hooking it up. If you guys haven't already done so, get you a motherfucking shirt. And hell yeah, man, get you a motherfucking shirt. But until next time and in the in-between time, make sure you're following them social media so you can see any announcements that I got to bring with you. And Kyle versus who are we talking about? Kyle versus Jake Paul. Hell yeah. Put me in there. I will fight him tomorrow.
Let's get him paid, man. Come on.
I will fight him tomorrow. Even if he knocks my ass out. Let me take my $1 million payday.
I figure we need a payday, right? Come on. Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
What are we waiting for?
Hell yeah. I'll fight him. Even though he's got me by 50 pounds, I'll fight him. Hell yeah. Give me that paycheck. It's Red Panty Night over here. Play blah. Until next time and in the in-between time, make sure you check out Knockouts 3 Counts. Peace.